Good morning, everyone. Just give me 1 minute. I want to make sure that we are live on Instagram as well. All right, then. A very good Sunday morning to you guys. Sorry, let me pause this music here as well. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me much better now. So, a very good morning to you guys. This is Sid. I am a real estate broker and the founder and CEO at Omer in Canada. Um, and in today's live session, we will be talking about if moving to Alberta in 2025 is still considered a smart move. And having lived in Alberta for 11 years myself before moving to Ontario about 4 years ago, just after COVID, I think that I've got deep insights of both the provinces and the lifestyles, and I've got some deep insights on the costs associated or cost differences living in Ontario as compared to living in Alberta. So we're going to consider all of those, and we're going to see if moving to Alberta is still a good decision, and if it is, then how can we help you with that? So let's get started here. Again, the first screen here just tells you I am a real estate expert. I've been in real estate industry for the last 15 years, and 11 years out of that was in Alberta, and 4 years here in Ontario. So let's jump forward. All right. So the agenda for today's event here is, of course, we're going to talk about me, my experience, what we do as a company, and how we can help you if in case you decided to move. Then, of course, we will look at uh, whether moving to Alberta in 2025, whether it still makes sense. We're going to compare all the housing costs, the utility costs, grocery costs, transportation costs. We'll see what the tax structure looks like in Alberta as compared to Ontario. We're going to look at the weather conditions and a lot more stuff. And then we will also see, um, the job market that we have in Alberta, average salaries as compared to what we have here in Ontario. And the biggest difference between Alberta and Ontario is Alberta comes with some really interesting self-employment opportunities, which may help you decide whether you want to move or not. So we're going to discuss all that. And then we are also going to look at some costs associated with the move. And these are usually the costs that people forget to consider. So we're going to go through that. And then if you're still left with time, we will have a question and answer session wherein you guys can, text me or message me the questions, and I will try to get back to you on them as soon as possible. All right. So let's start with a little bit about me. So my name is Sid. I am a real estate broker here in Ontario. I am also founder and CEO of Omer Canada, which we're going to talk about it later in this presentation as to what we're doing at Omer and how we are going to help people move to different provinces using Omer, and how we are going to help people monitor, manage, and maintain their properties in different provinces. So we're going to talk all about that. But before we jump in there, I've already mentioned that I've got about 15 years of experience in the real estate industry, which includes working in home renovation industry. I've, done basement developments, legal suite developments. I have been part of a company where we built new homes, whether it was, the cookie cutter homes or whether it was high-end custom homes. We've done it all. Then I have more than 5 years of experience working as a licensed mortgage specialist. So I'm going to share some insights on that and how it is different between the two provinces. And then, of course, I am a realtor or a broker here in Ontario. I've been doing that for 4+ years. And yeah, that's a little bit of me. I've got experience in the real estate industry across different horizons. And that is what made me come up with this real estate app, Omer, which we are again going to talk about in a little bit. So talking about our affiliation or our teams in Alberta, you can see me and my brother on the screen. My brother owns a real estate brokerage as well. It's a Century 21 franchisee that he has, and with a team of about 25 plus agents serving Edmonton and Calgary. He does a little bit of stuff in Red Deer as well, but the specialty is in Edmonton and Calgary. So using this affiliation, we are able to help a lot of people move between provinces, invest in different provinces. While they're in Alberta, they can invest here in Ontario or vice versa. So we have got those options available. Now, I've mentioned a little bit about the app that we have built at Omer. So it is an AI-powered personal real estate monitoring app that will keep you informed and in control of your real estate assets and investments. So the idea of this app is to make sure that you're not just living in a home, you're mastering it, you are staying on top of your financials, monthly cash flows. You're on top of what your equity looks like at any given point of time and all of that stuff. So this app is going to help you do all that. And then on the next screen here, I'll show you some other features that we have on the app that will again help you, consider Alberta options. So here you can meet Omi on screen. He's our AI mascot. He is our AI mascot, but he is your 24/7 personal real estate assistant, as he is going to help you with buying, selling, renting your properties, and above all, he's going to help you in monitoring, managing, and maintaining your properties. So when it comes to monitoring, he will help you figure out what your real-time home equity is, what your net worth is across different properties in different provinces. You can see what your monthly cash flow looks like. If there is a rental property, what is the cost for you on a daily basis or a monthly basis. It will break it all down for you. On the management side, you will be able to manage your documents. You'll be able to store them in the form of a property lifeline report, so that any renovations you do, any mortgage renewals you do, any insurances you get, you can store all those documents at one place. Of course, there is work order management where tenants can raise tickets for the landlords, and then landlords can do whatever is required to take care of those tickets. So you guys can manage work orders. And then, of course, landlords can also list their property on MLS through the app. They can receive applications, they can schedule appointments, they can, request credit reports or pull credit reports of the tenants. They can do background checks on them. And if they really like the tenant and they want to proceed, they can sign electronic leases. They can, um, you know, make sure that the tenant has insurance. The tenant insurance is shared at all times and all of that stuff. So there is landlord-tenant relationship management, and then comes the maintaining side of things, where a homeowner or a landlord can hire professionals to, help them maintain the property. So if, for example, there was a plumbing leak, or if there was um, any other thing, let's say a painting job that the homeowner needs, he can simply go there in the city of their choice and look for professionals, see their ratings, and then if required, they can contact them right through the app, through instant messages. They can schedule appointments, request quotations, and all of that stuff. And then we also have a marketplace, which is a feature which will be launched in about 3 months from now, which is going to help you buy, sell your home furniture, your home households, just like you have marketplace in some social media platforms. However, the way we are different is we only allow photo ID verified individuals to post their items. So when you as a buyer are trying to purchase something, you will, you'll be safe and secure, and you'll be able to trust the seller more than any other platform at the moment, and avoid scams that we get to hear day in day out right now. So that's Omi. He's our, again, AI mascot, part of the Omer app. And so the Omer app is already available on the Apple Store, and it will be available on uh, Android on the 31st of March. So you will be able to use the services going forward. And the good news is that we are also expanding into the Alberta market. Our target date is 31st March. We're still waiting for some licenses to be taken care of. But then once we get that, we will have access to Alberta real estate market data as well as Ontario real estate market. So you guys will be able to buy, sell, rent properties in the two provinces. Or if you're looking to buy investment properties in either of the two provinces, you can do all of that through the app. And keep in mind, we never tell our customers to use Omer realtors or anything of that sort. You're still able to use your own realtors. You're still able to use your own mortgage brokers. But if in case you don't have anyone, you have the option of searching our marketplace, looking for top realtors in the cities, irrespective of which brokerage they work for. And as the idea is that you guys get the top service that you guys deserve. So that is OMI. And now we get on track and we need to see if moving to Alberta in 2025 is still a smart move. And in order to come to a conclusion, we're going to see what the housing cost comparison looks like, which almost, I'm sure we all have already done that. And that is one of the major reasons why we are considering the move. But there are other costs as well that we really need to consider, like the utility costs, the grocery costs, there's transportation cost comparisons, then the tax structure comparison. Sometimes we think that, we're in Canada and tax structure is going to be the same all across. Well, yes, federal tax structure is the same all across. However, provincial tax structures are different, and that is what we're going to discuss here. Then we've got the job market study, and as well as the average salary comparison between the two provinces, and then the self-employment opportunities in Alberta. That really is a big point to consider when making this move. So we'll go through all of this one by one. Here's the housing cost comparison. We've taken an example. We just got two properties off realtor.ca. In Edmonton, on the right side, there's a freehold two-car detached home available for about $580,000. Whereas for that same amount, you'll be able to purchase probably a townhome or a stacked townhome here in Mississauga. The down payment is going to be exactly the same. Land transfer tax, there is land transfer tax in Ontario, but in Alberta, there is no land transfer tax. So you save that $4,000 or the $8,000, depending on whether you are a first-time home buyer or not. So that is one saving up front when you're looking to purchase a property, apart from the living lifestyle that you will get in Edmonton, Alberta. Now, the monthly payment, you'll see a slight difference in Alberta as well, because usually on an average, this is what we've seen. And, as I was part of the mortgage industry as well, the interest rates in Alberta are about 0.2% lower than what you get here in Ontario. So the monthly cost here or the monthly payment for this property here would be about $2,340 as compared to $2,286 in Edmonton. The property taxes are going to be more in Alberta, again, because you're getting into a much bigger property, of course, a newer property and all of that stuff. So all those factors come into consideration. However, the kind of property that you would purchase between the two provinces, you would not pay any condo fees because it's a freehold property in Alberta, while you would pay a condo fee here. So the total monthly cost, you will see there is a difference of approximately $200 a month, which will come down to about $2,800 of savings in Alberta for a much better lifestyle. Of course, you save on the land transfer tax. We have used it as the full $8,000, considering that you're not a first-time home buyer. So, giving us a total savings of about $10,931 if you are moving or if you're buying a property. Next, we should consider the utility costs. So electricity, you would see there is no major difference for a house of the same size. You pay about the same amount. Water, Alberta is slightly cheaper. The natural gas, Alberta is a lot better price as compared to Ontario. Ontario natural gas is pretty expensive. But in terms of internet, Ontario has a lower monthly internet cost as compared to Alberta. So looking at all of these utilities. An average individual would pay about $469.24 every month on the utility bills, whereas in Alberta, you would pay about $329.23. That gives you additional savings of about $140 a month. That means your total savings goes up to $12,611 in the very first year. Grocery cost. Once again, it is very similar. Ontario, Alberta, you'll see the milk is about the same price. Fresh white bread is cheaper in Alberta, but regular eggs are more money. Local cheese is more expensive again in Alberta, and chicken fillet. So overall, if you look at all the groceries and the different things that we purchase on a daily basis, you'll realize that Alberta is approximately 5% more expensive, and that probably has to do with the transportation costs of taking these goods over there. However, Alberta has no GST, so there is a savings of about 8% because here in Ontario you pay 13% HST, but in Alberta you pay only 5% GST, so that's 8% savings. So taking that into consideration and assuming that you spend about $1,000 a month on different things that you purchase, which can include furniture, which can include groceries, all of that stuff, we have added $30 a month savings, which comes to about $360 over the year, taking your annual savings to about $12,971. Now, transportation cost. Gas, of course, is cheaper in Alberta, but on this calculation here, we have ignored it, even though, because it would depend, right? It would really depend on how much gas are you consuming in a month. So we did not consider that. However, the car insurance premium is a big factor. You'll see Ontario has average car insurance premium of $1,920 approximately, as compared to Alberta, which has only $1,151. So that gives you a saving of about $769, taking your annual savings to up to $13,740. Now, here are some tax comparisons. Alberta uses flat income tax system, and Ontario, on the other side, uses progressive income tax system. So, depending on what your income structure is, if it's on the lower side, you may save some money in Ontario on the income tax side. However, if you are in the higher income bracket, then you're going to be better off in Alberta. And we can, of course, use some examples and figure that out. The other type of tax that we pay on almost everything on a daily basis is, of course, GST or HST. So we've already discussed this. Alberta has only 5% GST. So if you were to go to a grocery store and purchase grocery worth $100, in Alberta it would cost about $105, but in Ontario it would be $113. Corporate tax, again, you'll see there is a difference. Alberta is cheaper, promoting self-employment, so it is 8% as compared to 11.5% on the general corporate income tax rate, and the small business tax rate is only 2% in Alberta as compared to 3.2% in Ontario. So overall, there is about 4 to 5% difference right there in corporate tax. Property tax, of course, varies depending on property sizes. So again, we're not comparing those, but Alberta also does not have provincial health premium or payroll tax, whereas in Ontario you do pay anywhere between $300 to $900 annually for individuals to take care of that stuff. So as I've said earlier, Alberta's tax system is characterized by lower personal income tax rates, and the absence of provincial sales tax makes it more favorable for individuals with higher income brackets. So taxes, again, it varies. I think you would probably save on taxes in Alberta. However, we've just not included that in the annual savings because it would again be very personal and it would vary for every individual. Now, coming to the job market, Ontario versus Alberta. Alberta historically has been huge on oil and gas sector and tourism near Calgary for places like Banff, Jasper, the national parks that we have there. However, in the recent years, we've seen Alberta taking some major leaps and doing some major investments in sectors like technology, agriculture, renewable energy sectors. And again, because there's so much of people moving to Alberta, there is a lot of work being done on the construction side of things as well, on the in the home construction field, as well as commercial, actually, to be honest. Ontario, on the other side, has already established some really strong sectors like finance, technology, manufacturing, services, and of course, tourism. Uh, Talking about average salaries, this is a huge difference. Average salary, as per 2021 Statistics Canada, shows Alberta has $128,213 as annual income on average, but Ontario, on the other hand, is only $94,153. And in the graph here, if you were to look at the big, like the top four provinces of of Canada with highest population, you'll see that out of those four, Alberta has the highest average annual salary or average annual income. So that is a big difference. Again, we have not included that on the annual savings side because again, it's very personal. It will depend on what your skill sets are, what kind of jobs you can get, what sector you're working in, and all of that stuff. So it is for you to figure out if it is a profitable option for you going in. But now looking at the population growth, Alberta is the fastest growing population in terms of percentage growth. If you look at year over year numbers, Canada overall grew by about 2.35% in terms of population. Ontario, 2.33%, just below the average mark. However, Alberta has the maximum growth, which is 3.93% in terms of population growth. So in terms of people moving in. So if you look at the difference, like 4,931,000 in quarter four of 2024, as compared to 4,744,000 in quarter four of 2023, that's almost like that's more than 200,000 people within a matter of 1 year. So Alberta has a lot of people moving in, and hence there are various other sectors that are developing. For example, construction industry, I already spoke about it. And then uh, because of the construction industry, there are so many other industries that get affected that way. Okay, so in the agenda we spoke about this, that we will discuss some self-employment opportunities that Alberta comes with, which a lot of people are considering when they're taking or when they're deciding to move to Alberta. And that is because there are some businesses. Now we've taken example of these two kind of businesses because they're one of the most, like they're among the most popular businesses that people go and set up there. Of course, owning a daycare. The Alberta government is way more flexible with small scale operators. You'll see a lot of daycares operating there as compared to what you have here, even though the demand is probably the same on both ends. So people are going to Alberta. Let's say if one of the partners is employed and doing a full-time job but working remote, the other partner probably decides to get into some sort of self-employment, basically own a daycare or a liquor store or maybe some or the other kind of business, and that way they are able to generate more income than what they are generating here in jobs and after all the taxes and everything. Now again, owning a daycare in Alberta is also a big plus because it has a younger demographic and it has the highest birth rate in the whole of Canada. So having a daycare business there is really growing and is really profitable, and you have options available to own a daycare, in the price range of $150,000 or slightly more. And it goes without saying that there are financing options available, especially if you're looking to purchase an existing business. Now, liquor stores, again, liquor retail market is fully privatized in Alberta, which means that individuals can own and operate liquor stores without government intervention. So, again, that is a big plus. I see a lot of liquor stores. Probably there's a liquor store in every second shopping plaza that you would see. So there are a lot of options as compared to only being able to go to LCBOs here in Ontario. I know there've been some development on that side where some grocery stores and some convenience stores have started keeping some liquor. However, the variety or the options that are available in Alberta liquor stores is completely outstanding. And like you basically pick your own inventory and you decide what you want to keep, what you don't want to keep, depending on the market. So again, very good business opportunity there for people who want to get into that side of business and be self-employed and be their own boss and all of that stuff. Again, options to purchase a liquor store can probably start at around $100,000, but in order to get something decent, probably about $150,000. Some other considerations that we have to consider, especially for self-employment opportunities, is that Alberta does not have PST, so only GST. We've discussed that before. So, um, you know, so only 5% taxes as compared to 13% here in Ontario. And then Alberta has lower personal and corporate taxes, enhancing profitability. So it is an added advantage for self-employed individuals. Okay. The weather, I'm sure, the first thing that comes to our mind is, oh, you know what, Alberta must be freezing cold, must be very cold. How can we go and survive there and all of that stuff? So I have lived there for 11 years and I've lived here in Ontario for 4 years. The winters we just had here in Ontario, the amount of snowfall we had, I've never seen that in Alberta in the 11 years that I lived. Um, so, you know, I'm not asking or being partial to Alberta, but I'm just telling you the fact. So coming back to this slide here, average temperature in Ontario in summers is high 20s to low 30s, usually. Again, this is average. And winters, it varies between -6 degrees centigrade to -12 degrees centigrade. Alberta is not much different. It is between 25 to 30 degrees during the summer days. And then winters are between -10 to -15 degrees. However, what we really need to consider is the humidity factor. So Ontario has a lot higher humidity and Alberta is way drier, which makes Alberta more comfortable during summer and winter months. Now, in terms of snowfall, I've got some average numbers here. Ontario, on an average, you see about 108 centimeter of snow, and Alberta about 120 centimeters. So you get that extra 12 centimeters on an average in Alberta. But again, talking about sunny days, Ontario, history says Ontario gets to see about 180 to 220 days of sunshine in any given year. However, Alberta gets to see anywhere between 300 to 320 days of sunshine. So I've lived there, even if it is -20, -25 outside, but the sunshine that you get, sitting next to the window, whatever, it gives you the feel, you enjoy it way more than those, dull, cloudy days that you get here. So you get about 180 to 100 extra days of sunshine there, which of course, I'm sure we all love it. So that is again a big plus. So weather-wise, yes, Alberta is cooler, but because it's dry, it doesn't it makes you feel way more comfortable. In fact, I would say summer in Alberta is way better for me at least as compared to what we get here, because here it gets really hot in Ontario, but Alberta is very pleasant and really good. Snowfall, we've looked at it. Sunny days, of course, if you are someone who enjoys sun, who likes to enjoy the heat or the sun rays directly and get some vitamin D that way, Alberta is the place for you. Now, here are some extra or some expenses that you must consider. A lot of people forget all of these while considering the move. So, of course, there is moving expense, wherein you would have to hire a moving company to help you move your household furniture, your goods. It would cost approximately $1,500 for the first 1,000 pounds and about 75 cents per pound after the first 1,000 pounds. So budget for that. For a 3-bedroom house, with the living room, dining, and all of that furniture usually costs anywhere in the range of $3,000 to $4,000. Um, so some people also decide to sell their furniture here and purchase new furniture in there, so they're not paying this shipping cost. If you have vehicles here in Ontario and you're looking to move, if you were to ship it by rail, it costs approximately about $2,000. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can get it for about 1,800. But then, most of the times, current rate is anywhere between $2,000 to $2,100. And then, if you're planning to drive, you have to consider these points. Of course, you have to budget for fuel, you have to budget for potential repairs, the hotel costs, meals for about 3 days on the road, and all of that stuff. But keep in mind, it's about 3,500 kilometers, so it's not less. It would probably take you at least 2 nights and 3 days if you're driving about 10 to 11 hours each day. So make that decision wisely. Now, on the healthcare side of things, keep in mind that there may be a waiting period of 3 months, so you may need private health insurance for those 3 months. So consider the cost associated with that. Um, and yeah, I think these are some key points that you should look at um, before making that final call. And if you're moving to Alberta, if you think Alberta is for you, you better get used to driving with windshield cracks because of the crushed rock or whatever they use it uh, for all the snow that they get during the winter hours. They do not put the salt that we get here in Ontario, and because of that, all of those crushed stone or rock, whatever you call it, they are flying everywhere, and you would see almost every second car in Alberta with a cracked windshield. So get ready for that. Before I go on to the final slide and complete this presentation, I do want to make sure or highlight this one point. So your annual savings of about $13,740, it includes the land transfer tax. If you were not, like, that is only for the year when you're purchasing a property. If you were not buying the property on any given year, the difference is still about $5,000, give or take, without considering, tax advantages that Alberta comes with, or other things that we discussed. So about extra $400 a month. The average salary is higher. So looking at all of these features, it still makes sense to move to Alberta. This is what my 2 cents would be. Of course, every situation is different. Every individual is different. They would have their own opinions. Feel free to share those opinions with us. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to see what stuff we forgot or we did not include this, so that when we do similar sessions in the future, we can consider all of those. But I think that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining in. And if in case you have any questions, I am only a message away here on Facebook. Thanks a lot for joining in, guys, today. You guys have a good Sunday, and we will see you each very soon. Thank you. Have a good day.